Let's discuss a question from thermodynamics. We are given with three groups when we need to match. We need to choose an answer which satisfies, which is the correct corresponding appropriate term in each of the three. Now, starting with the pressure. Okay, now coming on path dependent and path independent. Now, pressure is path independent because it doesn't depend on the path. The change in the pressure between two state points doesn't depend on the path followed with. Whether you are for example, you are going from this path, so path 1 to 2, the change in the pressure is always P2 minus P1, whether you have gone straight or you have gone like this or you have gone this way. It doesn't matter, it's only P2 minus P1. So pressure is path independent and pressure is intensive. So what I mean by intensive is it doesn't depend on the extent of the system. A property which depends on the extent of the system is extensive. Now pressure doesn't behave like that. It's intensive because let's say you have a gas, okay, throughout this under a pressure of P. So anywhere throughout the gas the pressure will be P. Remember, we are not considering the hydraulic variation with height. That usually doesn't happen with gases because the density is very low. Now whether I take half the system or I take 1/4 of the system or I take the full system, the pressure everywhere is P. Okay, so it doesn't depend on the extent of the system. Pressure is intensive. That's the reason. So P is this is path independent is 2, intensity is X. So P2X is the correct option. Okay, so obviously P1X is not the correct option. Now coming to Q, heat depends on the path. We know that because the quantity of heat that is transferred in a process depends on the path of the process. It depends on the process, whether you have isochoric process, then whether it's isentropic, it's zero, it's isothermal. So it all depends on the process. So heat is path dependent. And what about the intensity or extensity? It depends on the extent of the system, because if you take half the volume of the system, the heat supplied, let's say if amount of heat supplied is Q, that is taken uniformly throughout the system, then if you consider only half the system, the amount of heat that is taken by that portion will be half. So it depends on the extent of the system. The heat supplied to a certain mass of gas or heat removed from certain mass of gas depends on the extent of the system. Okay, so Q would go with 1 and it will go with Y. So that is what is Q. Well, we don't have options. Q1X is given, Q2Y is given. So apart from B, there is nothing which is correct. So B is the answer. Thank you.